What is going on, everybody? You guys already know it's your boy Logan McSallen here. I'm trying something new today, trying to hold the microphone while I talk, while I do my commentary. But I hope everyone's actually having an absolutely wonderful day. Forgive me for the lack of content that's been new. I actually pre-recorded a bunch of Animal Crossing content the other day. But from those of you guys who have been watching my channel and my streams and stuff, you know I've been moving. As you can see, there's nothing behind me. I moved into an apartment 2-3 days ago, so I've been dealing with all that crap that goes along with it. So please forgive me. More content, more streams, more videos will be coming soon once I get stuff settled in here. And like I said, I haven't said actually on the video, but I still have to do work full time. So I work 5 out of the next 6 nights, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's currently 4:11 in the morning on October 22nd, 2021, Central Standard Time. We're going to be doing another tier list video. The last one for Sylveon did really good, so I figured might as well just stick with it and do another one. So we're going to jump into it here. This is just, I haven't played a whole bunch of the new update, but I played a couple good hours, and where I was playing a lot of ranked and the new Halloween mini game, which was super fun. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. No, I'm going to make you guys wait any longer. You're here for a tier list. We're going to get a tier list. We're just going to go down the entire list. We're going to do everything. So Venusaur used to be S tier. I used to say in my streams all the time that Venusaur is S tier. You need him on every team. It's kind of like how in Pokemon Showdown with the tiers that they make, like OU, PU, RU, whatever. If you basically have to have a Pokemon on your team to be good, or like it's just so dominant that you have to put it on your team, or you have to have Pokemon to counter it. Like for example, like if you had to have an ice type to counter Landorus, Therian, something like that. If you guys understand what I'm talking about, that's kind of how Venusaur was. You kind of had to have one on every team, or you needed something to counter it. For example, like a Cinderace or a Talonflame that you could fly above and nuke them like that. So I think Venusaur is still pretty good. I'm going to say Venusaur is A tier for now. I don't think it's S tier anymore. I think it dropped down. I think the nerf was good for it, but I don't think they nerfed it too incredibly hard, which is good. Gengar got a buff. I'm going to say Gengar I had in D tier. I would say Gengar is actually B tier now. Gengar is definitely a little bit better. Oh, sorry for slapping my mic. I think Gengar is better than it was before. It does a lot more damage. It's just good. Gengar is solid. I don't think it's as broken as it was in the early days of the game, but I think it's actually pretty well balanced now. That's why it's B tier, right in the middle of the thing. Mr. Mime I think is still B tier. I think in the right person's hands it can be an A tier, but it doesn't do enough. I mean, it does a great amount of damage for a support. It doesn't do a whole lot more damage than you would expect. So I think Mr. Mime is perfect in B tier. I do think it's better than Gengar. And I think it can be used in more ways. In terms of junglers though, like with Gengar, I think Gengar is not going to be the top tier jungler. There are other Pokemon right now that are top tier junglers that would outclass Gengar, so you probably shouldn't play Gengar, but if you really enjoy Gengar, play him. He's not going to you're not going to basically be trash is what I'm trying to say here. Snorlax, I think Snorlax is B tier. No, I think Snorlax is A tier. Snorlax just takes hits, moves people around the map, does it whatever he does. He hits people up in the air. Snorlax is great. I don't think they really mess with Snorlax too much in this last patch, so I really liked playing Snorlax. I really think Snorlax is still A tier. Gardevoir, I'll say Gardevoir is C tier. Gardevoir still has the issue where it evolves at level 10, and it's just not going to change. And same thing with Garchomp, it evolves at level 10. It makes the Pokemon so much worse than it really should be because of that late evolution. So it's C tier. It's actually pretty solid, and its Unite move is great for taking objectives like Zapdos, Dreadnought, Rotom. If you can actually get up to level 10 quick enough for it to be useful. I mean, that's just the main issue with it, honestly. Absol's pretty good. I'd say I'll say Absol's C tier, pretty good, and puts it in C tier. Look at me go. I think Absol's pretty good. Forgive me. But I think Absol is frail still, even to this day. With the right items like Focus Band, Buddy Barrier, you can be pretty decently bulky, and you still do hit like a truck even with those items. But I just don't know, man. I'm just not a huge fan of the melee attackers, and this is all personal opinion. Like, this is no one's giving me this information. Garchomp, I'm going to say is still D tier, man. I just don't think that Garchomp has the ability to do anything greater than that. Its moves are cool looking. They look cool. They look good. But I just don't think Garchomp is super effective in the game. It's like I said with Gardevoir earlier, the level 10 syndrome, you just can't beat it. Lucario, I definitely think is still S tier. They nerfed it a little bit, but I've had some other people playing Lucario, and they were saying that nerf didn't really affect him too much. I wouldn't say it's top of S tier and running amok like it used to be, but I think it's still solidly in S tier. Just definitely not the best Pokemon in the game anymore, which is great. Or if it is the best Pokemon in the game, it's not by a super wide margin. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm trying to say here. Crustle is B tier. Forgive me, all you Crustle fans out there, but there's just something about Crustle that I just hate. I just cannot stand playing Crustle for more than like one game in a row. It just, after a certain point, it's like, makes me want to bash my head into the wall playing with Crustle. But I think he's still solid. Score Shield, Buddy Bear, you literally cannot stop this dude from scoring. After he ults at late game, he's great for getting the last final points in, but for every other part of the game, he's kind of like mid tier, and he might honestly be low A tier. I'll put him top of B tier for now, just because of how good he is at taking objectives and scoring later on in the game. But I mean, for the most part, I'm not going to say he's useless, but he's very much so not great. Greninja, I think, is A tier. I think it's actually Greninja's S tier. Sorry. Greninja still hits like a truck. It's basically the same thing as the last tier list that I made. You can check that out on my channel, the Sylveon tier list, the post-nerf Sylveon tier list. But I think Greninja is still hits like a truck. The double team Water Shuriken combo is incredible. I definitely need to give that more of a thought. I usually use Surf, honestly. I'm kind of like old school with this Surf Greninja stuff, but I think it's great. I think Greninja is great. I think its movement speed is good. I think its attack is good. It's great, especially if you want to play carry. Talonflame is still S tier. Talonflame is still nuke and hose from above. Still great in lane. Still great in jungle, which is crazy because Talonflame did a complete 180 with the last patch update. So very good to see that it's good, but it's still a little bit broken, but it's still fine. Honestly, dude, Charizard, I'm going to put low C tier. I don't want to put it in D tier. I don't think it's that bad, but Charizard's just not very good. Whenever I see a Charizard on the other team, I get very excited for it. When I get very depressed when I see one on my team, because he's just, most people that play Charizard are not very good with Charizard, and it's really hard to make an impact, or for other people to make impact in the matches with Charizard. So I think he's low C tier. Maybe top of D tier, honestly. Zeraora is probably top of S tier right now. Everyone is playing Zeraora. There's a Zeraora in every match. Discharge, I always talk about. I think I talked about this in the last video too. But any move that does a circular motion hit and does constant damage the entire time, like Discharge and Petal Dance for Venusaur, those moves are absolutely busted. Just because you can do continuous damage, it's great for taking objectives. So that's kind of why I think Zeraora is S tier. Plus its movement is great, and Wild Charge and Spark are viable now, so it's great. I really like it. Cinder is probably A tier. I don't really know. I haven't looked at the patch notes in a couple days, but I don't know. I feel like Cinder's main reason for being, I think I had Cinder in S tier last time, was because it was like the hard counter for Venusaur. And now that Venusaur is nerfed, you don't really need a Cinder on your team to be able to nuke it from outside. So you can its effectiveness and its utility kind of dropped off a little bit, but I still think it's great. The first support I'm putting in S tier is going to be Eldegoss, man. Eldegoss is my main. I play Eldegoss all the freaking time. Eldegoss is great. I definitely think it's an S tier, dude. Throwing up shield, throwing up healing, throwing up speed boosts, all that crap is absolutely incredible and super viable for playing. Even as a solo queue player in Masters, I'm winning game after game after game with Eldegoss. It's crazy. And that's not always what happens for me in Masters. A lot of the times I get shafted when I play other Pokemon, but when I play Eldegoss, the games are typically close, so it's great. Cram, I think, is solidly B tier. I think Cram is A tier, actually. I think Cram is A tier. Cram just does so much damage. I mean, it got nerfed 2 patches ago, and it kind of became less effective then, but Cram is still great, a great laner, an absolute killer late game, early game, middle game. It's just great. It's great for taking farm too. Absolutely wonderful. Blastoise, I think, is still A tier. Even though they did nerf its Hydro Pump, Water Spout is still completely effective. Rapid Spin is still good. They did nerf his Unite move, which definitely needed to be nerfed a little bit, but I think he's still solidly A tier. Blastoise has great usability, great utility. He's good early game, middle game, late game. Like I said, that's all you can ask for. Pikachu, I think, is actually top of B tier for the Pokemon we have on here right now. I just think Pikachu is super solid when it comes to doing damage. He's really good early game. He's a little bit less effective late game, but at least his Unite move is pretty good. So I'll put him B tier for now. The new all damage build or whatever that everyone's been running has been really effective. It's been doing pretty good against me in matches too. So like I said, we're going to skip Clefable. Clefable's not in the game yet. It's been announced. I think they said they're going to bring it in at some point, but nothing has ever come from that. Ninetales, I'd say, is probably C tier. Ninetales was a lot more effective when Wigglytuff was busted earlier in the game's lifespan. When Ninetales and Wigglytuff would run a lane, it was complete AIDS to play against, dude. You would get stunned, or you'd get put to sleep by the Wigglytuff. The Ninetales, and you would finally wake up after like 5 seconds of being asleep, and the Ninetales would have frozen you, and you couldn't move again, and then the Wigglytuff would just put you right back to sleep. So, I think, and I'm putting Wigglytuff in this tier for the same reason. They both became less effective when the other one became less effective. If that makes sense. They're kind of hand in hand, linked like that. Look at us, we're kind of looking even here. I don't know if we'll keep it that way. Slowbro, I think, is C tier. I think Slowbro when played effectively is probably low B tier, but Slowbro when played by the average person is C tier. I think something about Slowbro it still gives me a headache when I see someone pick it on my team. I get excited when someone picks on the other team, but it actually, you know what, I'm putting Slowbro B tier. I think Slowbro is finally getting the love it deserves, and I think it's definitely more effective than people have been giving it credit for recently. Machamp is really good. I'm gonna put Machamp up in B tier. I think Machamp just freaking hits hard. He runs fast. He's good for objective taking. He's not incredible early game, and he is a melee attacker, which kind of limits his usability in my opinion. It's really hard to be an effective melee attacker unless you have super great movement, kind of like Lucario, where you can dash around. So yeah, I mean, Machamp is great. One of my favorite Pokemon to play. I absolutely love playing Machamp, but I think I'm gonna have to put him in B tier for now. Blissey, I think, is still A tier. I'm trying to think if I should put it any higher in A tier. No, I'll leave it there for now. I mean, the tiers are kind of the most important thing. How they're ordered doesn't really matter too much. I like to put them in the order, which I think that they're actually use. Which I think they're like ranking them within the tiers, but it doesn't really mean a whole lot because they're in the same tier. They should be around the same rank anyway. But I'm trying to do my best right now. But it is what it is. I'm not going to go back and do it. So, but I think Blissey is great. Giving attack boost, Safeguard is great, especially in the pumpkin Halloween match stuff. For getting you out of those situations like that. I think Blissey is really cool, really fun. You just can't play it solo queue necessarily very effectively because people aren't going to know how to play you unless you're like just the best Blissey in the world. You're going to find it a little bit more difficult to do it in solo queue. So Mamoswine, I think Mamoswine is still B tier. I'll probably put it, probably put it right here. No, Mamoswine's top of B tier for right now. Mamoswine is really good. It's really good early game. It's pretty solid early game. Middle game, it's not incredible, but not bad. But late game, it's pretty good. It's just slow. It's slow and bulky, which is fine. I mean, Pokemon are going to be slow and bulky, but I think Mamoswine, his CC is really good. He's really good for kind of like Machamp, for picking things up and putting them behind you so your team can just wail on them. I think it's really good, but I don't think it's does enough damage consistently and can win fights one-on-one consistently enough to be in A tier. Sylveon, on the other hand, I think is definitely A tier, probably up here. Sylveon just hits like a freaking truck, moves around the speed. It's actually pretty slow. It doesn't look like it would be slow because it's a fox, but dude, Sylveon is Pretty slow, but it does so much damage. It's great for objective taking with Hyper Voice. Mystical Fire does so much damage. I really enjoy Sylveon. I think Sylveon's middle A tier. I think it's great. Greedent, I think, is actually going to be low A tier for me. Greedent is really good. It's a little bit busted right now with its Belch move and its Unite move. It resets the cooldowns. I guess it can make you... I haven't played Greedent. I haven't unlocked, but I guess you can use moves kind of infinitely. You can just spam the moves, so it's kind of crazy. But other than that, Greedent, I mean, I think Greedent is pretty solid. It's pretty bulky. It can do damage, and it's great in lane. So I'm gonna leave it like this. I think this actually looks pretty good. Obviously, Clefable's not in the game yet, so I can't really judge where Clefable is. But I don't think I had a support in S tier last time, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling here. I'm gonna go to bed. I think I've slept six or 10 hours in the last 3 days, so it's been crazy. But I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for checking out the video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be posting more videos like this soon with every patch or every update. I'm going to try to do another tier list, and who knows, if I look back at this in a couple weeks and this is just totally wrong, I might just come back and redo it. So thank you guys so much again. Like I said, I stream pretty frequently. Make sure you hit that notification bell if you want to know when I stream. If not, you'll pop up in your subscription feed if you're subscribed. So yeah, thank you guys so much again. Love you all. I will see you very soon. Bye bye.